Ooh, yeah, brothers. So today I'm here with my friend Nick Stokke, owner of Below Zero Wrestling. We're going to have an amazing show. So without further ado, Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So you own Below Zero Wrestling.
Yes. Yep. I am co-owner. I have a business partner, Zach. But we own Below Zero Wrestling.
Nice. And yeah, I've watched a little bit of your guys' stuff. And,
Sure.
I train with a former champion of yours.
Okay.
I do not recall his name. I don't train with him, but he is part of my affiliate group. So he trains at Fargo BJJ with my coach, George.
Jake Taylor.
Yes. Yep. He was on the news with you.
The bearded assassin.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Jake Taylor.
Yep.
All forms of martial arts with him. Yeah. He was our Sub-Zero champion, looking to get back into the winner's circle here.
Well, my lovely wife, Caitlin, over there, she actually rolled with him, I believe.
Okay.
When we were in Fargo the last time.
Okay.
I'm old and beat up, so I just rolled with one of the other black belts there. And me and him just had a friendly roll. And
yeah.
Yep. But
cool.
Yeah, he looked like he was in good shape and ready to go. I believe at that time it was like the day before he won the championship.
Okay. So that was a little while ago.
Is he still the champion?
No, he just lost it in August.
Fucking loser. I don't want to be associated with him anymore.
But no, he's been one of the most successful guys. He's one of our main baby faces, one of our main good guys. Fans love him. Fear the beard.
Well,
so
he could play either, honestly. Like, looking at the guy, like, he could probably be a top baby face or a top heel, depending what you want him to do.
he's been both.
Yeah,
We'll say he's had a change of heart. But yeah, no, he's wonderful. Jake's great. He's a staple of our company. He's been there since day one.
Okay. And, well, I mean, change of heart, that seems to happen quite a bit.
It happens a lot, just as the Big Show.
So, God, is he the one who flopped the most in history?
I think so. I would, if not, he's right up there.
Jericho.
Big Show's got him beat.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Fair.
yeah.
You're the expert here.
Yeah.
You know better than me. I just have this sweet new Ric Flair robe that my wife made me because, have you heard of Big Blanket Co?
I have.
They refused to call me. I did 5 episodes.
Ugh.
I know, right?
I don't know why they didn't call you after episode 1.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I had to give up, and I had to have my wife get to work and labor away all day.
She did a wonderful job.
Is it not?
I like
Ric
it.
Flair-y?
I like it.
I like it too. Actually, I don't think I could buy anything better than this, honestly.
No.
So,
You could buy a Ric Flair robe,
we looked.
like an actual Ric Flair robe.
Yeah, I think we looked at $80,000.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's like if you need another mortgage on the house.
Yeah, no, I don't need that. I don't even need one to begin with. That sounds horrible.
I agree.
So, what made you want to start a professional wrestling company?
Man, just being a fan. Being a fan of wrestling all my life, and when I was younger, early 20s, at one point I was like, I should be a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I shouldn't be a professional wrestler. And so it took some time, and then I dove back into wanting to be in part of wrestling. And there was a company that used to be in North Dakota that went for sale, and I didn't purchase it, but I looked into it. Mm-hmm. And then a couple years after that, my business partner, Zach, just randomly put something on Facebook one day, and we happened to be part of the same Facebook group, that he wants to start a professional wrestling company in North Dakota. Mm-hmm. So I responded thinking, this is nothing. This isn't going to happen. We talk and talk and talk and talk. And
Which is like everything,
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
I've done that quite a bit.
We just got comfortable and felt like, hey, we should do this. And so me and Zach just continued to brainstorm. And here we are, 4 years, almost 4 years later.
Nice. Well, you guys came a long way in just 4 years. So.
Yeah, so it's been 3.5 years of running events. We've been putting it together here, for about 4 years. We've been working on it. But yeah, 3.5 years, over 30 events, with our next one here coming up in Bismarck.
Which, yeah, people are pretty excited about that.
Yeah. We're excited to be back.
And that's how I got hold of you. I think I had like 3 or 4 people message me saying, you should get them on the show. And I was like, I like wrestling. Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that.
yeah, and hey, meeting new friends, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So, funny enough that you say you wanted to be a professional wrestler. You're like, I should just do that.
Yeah.
That's how I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Which I thought to myself, like, I'm going to be an MMA fighter. Like, hurt my back early on, but I also don't like getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I thought that too for like 2 months one time, and I was just like, was like, I don't like being punched in the face.
No,
like,
no, it sucks.
I'm not happy. I'm not liking this.
Yeah, no, I have like fake teeth. My knee's injured now. Like I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 16, 17 years, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I was the OG in North Dakota. There was only me and my coach at the time.
Okay.
Who I want to say, yeah, that was about it. And they were in Fargo. I'm in Bismarck, so it was tough. Like I went a long time without having a coach, training MMA gyms before I met George, who took me on.
Yeah.
And got you guys your champion, of course.
Yeah.
That's the roots he came from our gym. Only when
Okay.
he's a champion, though.
Okay.
Otherwise, I want nothing to do with him.
Okay.
So fair.
I'll tell him that.
Thank you. Thank you. I would appreciate it.
We'll see how he likes that. He might turn bad again.
Well, I have some guys who wouldn't mind making an appearance and maybe roughing him up a little bit.
There you go.
KO Chris, I mean, he's the UFC Power Slap champion.
Yeah.
He might have to go out and reinforce me. I'm an old man, but I can have younger, stronger guys go in,
That's
take
why I
down the
don't
champ.
wrestle anymore. I'm
Exactly.
too old. I can just have the younger and more athletic guys.
Exactly.
Do it.
See, that's how we got to think as top guys.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So we are here to try a new segment. It's called I Don't Know, I Just Work Here. Basically, the concept is me and my wife look at a story either from Reddit or any other local news organization. Basically, people asking for advice or spouting off stupid shit. And we give answers to them in our take on it. So, without further ado, my wife, Caitlin, what do we got?
All right, so this is from our advice from the user Garden of Knox. It starts, my wife is weird about me being in our office alone. So for backstory, we're both in our mid-30s and we've been married over a decade. Recently, I've been trying to reconnect with one of my old hobbies, which is writing short fiction. Before we got married, I used to dream about writing short stories for a small audience. Not for monetary reasons, just because I like to tell little stories and entertain people. Anyway, life and work and marriage and everything got in the way, and I stopped writing for a very long time. I'm now trying to make more time for things like hobbies and family outings. So along with writing my little stories, I've also been doing more stuff like organizing day hikes and date nights. Just overall trying to get out of this slump we've been in since COVID of staying inside and watching TV all night. So back to the writing. To do this, I need to be away from distraction or it just doesn't work. I've been getting on my laptop in our spare room/office for 30 to 60 minutes and working on them. And every single time, my wife has been weird about it. First, I can just feel tension start whenever I get my coffee cup and laptop and get up. She knows where I'm gonna go and starts to look hurt. Every time she asks me, "Where are you going?" in this pleading kind of voice, and I tell her I'm just going into the other room for a little while to work on my stories. Then I get an okay or an oh and a stone face. Then for a few hours after, everything just feels awkward. I've talked to her about it. She first wanted to know why I couldn't write on the couch with her and the TV and everything. I told her it's just too distracting and I need to be alone. Then she told me that she thinks I just don't want to spend time with her. I told her that was ridiculous. If I'm not at work, I'm with her 100% of my time. All I want is an hour every couple of days to go into the other room. She said, well, fine, all huffy and won't talk about it anymore. But every time I do it, she gets upset at me. I don't know where this is coming from or why she's feeling so insecure about it. She won't really talk to me about it anymore either, just not really sure what to do. Is this a normal reaction? Would you feel left out or upset if your partner were in the other room for a little bit? I don't even close the door when I go in there.
So, first thing, I mean, jerk off. Who writes short stories? But second, it sounds like she wants to spend time with him.
Yeah.
And he is kind of ignoring her on it. Like I said to you earlier when we talked about this, like, you like to read in the area that I play video games or if I'm watching anime or whatever, just kind of spending time.
Yeah. We just like doing our own thing, but near each other.
Yeah, and I get wanting your own time, and if you need to concentrate, maybe if she's being distracting, but that could be something he could ask her and be like, okay, we'll try. But if you're distracting me, I'm kind of trying to work on something that he takes seriously, even though, like I said. But, so, that, and then you brought up the dates and the hiking, which he's trying to get her to do stuff that she probably, well, maybe she wants to do, but she might not want to do. Because we all know getting up after long periods of not exercising isn't the most fun thing. And then if you're kind of out in the wild doing hikes, you're kind of stuck into exercising. And if that's not your bag at the time, that seems like an awful lot.
Yeah.
So I think that we're just missing a lot.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he could do little things to compromise the situation, like you talked about before. Like maybe she just puts headphones in, or find something silent to do in the same vicinity so they can still be together, but he can still focus on what he wants to focus on.
Do you think maybe she thinks he's doing something shady? Because, like I said, going and writing short stories, maybe it's because I'm not a writer and I can barely form a sentence, but going and writing short stories seems a little suspicious.
Yeah, and like what kind of short stories is he writing? Like, does he not want her seeing it? I mean, he says he has the door open, but I mean, there's something that she feels weird about, and maybe he's choosing not to see what she finds weird about it.
Well, and that's kind of what, yeah, he said she refuses to talk about it. So either she just clams up and she's weird, or he's just not trying to talk about it, and then asks Reddit because, of course,
Yeah. Well, anyone that goes to Reddit to ask for advice is usually somebody who probably knows the answer to their question already, but they're looking for validation for
that's
what
kind
they
of what I've
really
seen.
want.
I'm new to Reddit, but yeah, it just seems like you said, it's just a place to get validation for what they want, and if you disagree with them, they might get a little upset. But I don't know. What do I know? I just work here. Let's see. So business news, or, well, news in wrestling.
Yeah.
See, so today, let's see, I looked up, I saw that Ethan Page, so I'm an AEW fan.
Okay.
You are probably both. I mean, you can be both, don't get me wrong.
I am both. I definitely lean WWE.
Yeah.
WWE kind of goes along with what we're doing at BZW, just kind of some of that stuff, but I enjoy both of them a lot.
No, there's no reason you can't like both.
But my Mondays seem to be a lot more free than my Wednesdays.
Fair.
So I get more chances to watch WWE.
Do you watch live still?
Sometimes.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes my daughters want to sit down and watch wrestling, so we do. But then there's other times where I speed through the highlights and watch the matches that I want to watch. I know results and news and everything for all the companies.
Yep.
But I'd say my most watch is probably WWE. And I think maybe that's too with my two daughters being younger.
Yeah.
It's easier to watch for them.
Oh, no, and that's fine too. I mean, like I said, I would probably watch both if I had the time, but
Yeah.
even then, like, I prefer AEW, and it's mostly for the wrestlers on the roster.
Sure.
Like MJF. Like,
Tough to beat MJF.
every time I watch, that's a highlight. Will Ospreay,
Yep.
Kenny Omega.
Yep.
Like, once you've seen them in the ring, it's so hard to go back,
Yep. And it's so different. I mean, the styles themselves, the type of matches that they're having, like, Ricochet just left WWE, shows up on AEW, and that's kind of more his style.
Yep.
Where, someone like a Roman Reigns or John Cena, while they would be good at AEW, I don't know if they'd thrive in AEW.
It's
And
tough
they probably
to say.
would, but-
Like, so the whole reason I was going to bring up the NXT, which I haven't kept up on NXT at all, but I had just saw that Ethan Page is in NXT.
Yeah.
And Ethan Page, to me, was probably one of the most overlooked guys in AEW.
Yes.
He was every time I saw him, super talented, great on the mic, and I just couldn't understand why he didn't get the push he deserved.
I don't know. I always liked him. When he came into NXT, it was instant that he should be there. I mean, NXT, everyone has always said, is like the developmental, it's the minor leagues and everything. And in reality, it is. But there's still just some amazing talent there. And he's proved along, with his program with Trick Williams right now, the guy belongs at the top. And so he's been wonderful since he came, and he's getting the push and just able to do what he can.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, he deserved that in AEW. Every time they'd give him a little push, it'd be like flop again.
Yep.
But I did watch NXT earlier on, more than WWE. I just didn't like Vince McMahon. I didn't like his product. Not necessarily him as a person or anything. It was just the style he had.
It got bad for a while. It got bad. It got bad. It just got really tough to watch. There was many times I was watching it and I'm going, what? Like, why are we doing this? What are we doing? You know, it just, it wasn't good. So the last few years, the change of pace and the change of leadership and the stories, it's been a welcome to wrestling fans.
And I keep up to, like, I know what's going on with the Roman Reigns story, the bloodline.
It's the best, one of the best storylines of all time.
It was pretty good. I liked it. I loved what they did with Sami Zayn.
Yes.
That was
I'm
a
a
great
huge
part.
Sammy fan, so.
Yeah. Well, I heard him in, I don't know about him for sure, but I heard Kevin Owens might be showing up in AEW too, which.
I got a tough time believing that. I just knowing what I know, and not that I know more than anyone, but I mean, I'm so integrated into wrestling. I got a really hard time thinking that Owens would ever show up there.
You know, if he did, like, so I love Kevin Owens. I love AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else is in WWE for the guys that I would like or did really like. And those two were the top of the list. But,
Well, it's hard not to like AJ. I mean, Owens is great too, but AJ is one of the best ever. One of my favorites of all time. He'll never go to AEW.
No, he's
gonna retire. He'll retire. He might go back to TNA for a little bit. They have a good working relationship right now.
That's right. They do.
Some TNA people have showed up on WWE.
That's right.
I would say that Styles goes for one more.
That would make sense.
Yep, one
it
more.
would make, because basically him and Samoa Joe built that place.
Yep.
Well, with that, let's go to a commercial break, and then we will get back. So.
You don't want to pencil fight me, because I'll fuck you up in pencil fighting. None of that cherry chopping, none of that old over-the-shoulder boulder holder bullshit either. I'll straight fucking beat your ass in pencil fighting. Then you're gonna have to go home and explain to your moms why all your motherfucking pencils are broken. Because I beat that ass again. I'm the champion.
And we are back. I'm joined with my friend Nick Stokke, owner of Below Zero Wrestling. Welcome back, Nick.
Glad to be back.
So, I saw this video last night when I was researching some things, and it is how WWE was invented by Jimmy Reese. And here we
Jason,
go.
let's make a musical theatre show for people who do not like musical theatre.
Oh, okay, sir. How do we do that? So the stage is...
A boxing ring. It'll be manly and tough and athletic.
Okay, so musical theatre has songs. We'll do the opposite of that?
No, Jason, we'll keep the songs.
Okay.
Bad songs.
Okay, but we'll delete the costume.
No again, Jason. We'll need frills and colours and leather. And men in tights. Large men in tights.
Okay, we'll keep that. So what happens?
Muscular people wrestle, Jason, in a manly fashion. Ooh, fashion.
What fashion?
Jaws.
Worst fashion.
Gotta wear
Just back
jorts.
to the
You have to.
wrestling. What are the rules?
John
Jason,
Cena made
there
him
are
popular
no
again.
rules.
Oh, like
Do any of the
MMA?
guys still wear them, or just John
It's like
Cena?
a musical theatre.
There's got to be
All right,
someone
so
out
just
there.
what
Okay.
happens in a show?
Match.
Right, what happens in a match?
Music.
Yes.
And the villain appears in a mask.
Sounds like the Phantom of the Opera. What are the names of these characters?
Manly things, Jason.
Oh, okay, like
Randy Man.
Randy Man.
I haven't finished yet. Macho Randy Man Savage.
Yeah, that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Rock.
You can't like wrestling without liking Ric
have to.
Flair
Just
and
naming
Macho.
pieces of gravel.
Cold Steve from Austin.
Oh my God.
Oh, the Big Show.
So it is a show.
Shut up, Jason. The most manly of them all.
Oh, okay.
Brett.
Brett.
No, wait. Sean.
Sean.
Gold Dust.
No.
No, wait, but Goldberg.
Oh my God.
John. Cancel all those, Jason. I've got it. Kane.
Kane.
And Kane is a tough one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's have
I
special
also just saw that.
moves,
That was
Jason.
the Undertaker's
Like what, a
original
chorus
name.
line?
Yes.
Kane the Undertaker.
Kane the Undertaker.
You can't see me, can you?
You just put your hand. I can see you. Are these special moves like the big ballad?
No, Jason, what are you stupid? These are finishing moves designed to inflict the most amount of pain on their opponent.
All right, what's the name of one?
After I finish this, I'll have to tell you. I watch a channel that they explain how
Dance break.
wrestling
It is kinda,
moves would
Jason.
combine with jiu-jitsu
Ooh,
to be
The people.
Like really
Effective.
People's
yeah.
what?
Elbow
I found that interesting, and I found some of my favorite techniques from there.
Wow.
Jason, it's simple. Let's make muscular people dance to music before acting out a fight scene in a boxing ring. But sometimes they go outside of the boxing ring to get a musical chair in which they use to smash each other in the face before someone performs their very special move. And then they hold them on the ground politely and ask the referee, am I the winner?
Okay.
Put him in a cage or on a cage.
Right, so there's set design and props now.
Yes, Jason, they will throw each other off the cage. Ooh, a ladder.
But we can see the harness and the strings, right?
No, Jason.
No what?
No cables.
But you said it's a fight scene.
It is.
But you said they fall off cages and ladders.
Yes, Jason.
Hang on, but the acting.
Bad acting.
Why is it bad acting?
Jason, it's a give and take relationship. You can't have all of the muscles and all of the acting.
Right, sacrifice the muscles for the acting.
Jason, this is an athletic event that
I think
requires
I just
its
like Jason the
cast
most.
to be a triple threat.
Singing, dancing, and acting?
No, Jason, the size of a house is screw loose and Olympic-level gymnastics.
Pardon?
Okay, that'll do.
Who watches this, sir?
Children.
Children.
At heart.
Children
I
at
think he's
heart,
wrong
right.
there.
Anything
I don't
else?
think
Yes,
as many
Jason,
children
make one
watch
of their
wrestling
bad
anymore
actors
as
the biggest movie
adults.
star of all time.
I guess you would
Okay,
know
gotta
more
go.
anymore.
No, we can't do
I
that.
see a lot of
shut
kids
up,
that show up
Jason,
to our
we can't.
events.
That's
to lose
fair.
all the muscles to get the acting
And
back, right?
a lot of kids that watch it.
Who runs this thing?
Still,
Make it a
so.
guy who makes Donald
It
Trump
might not be as
seem shy.
much, but I
Gotta
still think-
go. Goodbye,
still think there's a lot of it.
Jason.
Bye. Sir, is that you? You look like a frog about to splash in the water. And jorts. We'd wear 3/4 length shorts. Bunch of idiots. What?
That's good.
I got a kick out of it, so.
I can't believe I've never seen that before.
But yeah, well, I don't know. Oh, it just came out 2 days ago. So
That's why I've not seen it.
Yeah.
That is why I've not seen it.
But yeah, I just found it and it was great.
Yeah.
So we were talking about kids that show.
Yes.
So, and I know kids will always watch, and that's the nice thing about wrestling and a lot of different things is that you could watch as a family. Like I said, me and my daughter, we watch all the time. Granted, in like 15-minute sessions now because I have way less time than I used to.
Yeah.
And like you said, I can't find hours a week to watch wrestling anymore.
It's not common that I'm watching. Well, Raw's only 2 hours now, but it's not common that
heard that,
you know, that I was watching 3 hours of Raw at a time. It was tough, you know. But yeah, I mean, I still think that it's still for kids in the right setting. That's something that we're doing at Below Zero. We're an all ages event, so where there's other companies, there's AEW, there's some things that are maybe geared more towards adults.
Yep.
But at some of our events, every single kid is around our barricade. The kids are just lined up. It's crazy. They're trying to jump in the ring. Like when the wrestlers come out, like the loudest cheers and loudest screams are still the kids, mainly because they have a high pitched voice.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, it's like it's still at heart. Wrestling to me, it has to be for the kids. It has to be for all ages.
Yeah, which is, I mean, there is something to be said about like the CZW and is that CZ? Did I get that right?
CZW, yep.
Is that the one, the really hardcore one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Which that's never been my thing. Like, I don't really even necessarily need to see them bleed.
Yeah.
Like, I get why you'd want to enhance the realism, but I don't understand why they would have to do it the hard way.
Yeah. You know, I believe that there's definitely a place in that in wrestling, in professional wrestling. There are people out there that really enjoy it. There are some fans out there that's all they want.
Yep.
They just want hardcore matches, death match wrestling.
Is that still to this day?
Yes.
Is it as big though as it used to be?
I think right now the maybe not straight up death match, but like the more brutal and violence is still definitely there. GCW is a big indie company. They're kind of like a national indie, and that's kind of what they do. A lot more violence, a lot more blood, stuff like that. And some of those performers are great, and there's some good companies out there that do that stuff. But the straight up just, hey, we're gonna get in a ring and just hit people with light tubes the entire time.
Yeah,
that's not for me. It's for some. There's some people that enjoy it, obviously, because they do it, but it's not me.
Well, and same with me. Like, I watch people fight all the time for a living.
Yeah.
It's like, if I watch wrestling, I want to be more entertained. Like, I don't need the realism as much. Like, I want it to be fun. I want to get into the story. I want to see cool shit. Like I said, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, shit that I couldn't even dream of doing.
No, you can't do that.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
if I had a swimming pool.
Okay.
Well, not at this age, but when I was a kid, maybe.
And the ambulance on speed dial.
Fair, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna jump off a 10-foot cage or
No.
even
I watched someone moonsault. Well, one of our guys at our event in last February at Winter Slam. Winter Slam is our WrestleMania, and Jack Ledger, who is our first ever champion, he moonsaulted off the top of a cage last year for us, and it's beautiful when someone does that right.
Yeah, but last thing I want to see is anyone get hurt during it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think most of the fans agree with that.
Yep.
Which is why, like I said, for the deathmatch stuff, I'm just like, I don't need to see it that bad where, they shorten their career.
Exactly.
But speaking of that brings me up to something I've talked to people a lot about, steroid use.
Sure.
I know the WWE has that wellness policy. That was from Chris Benoit, right? That tragedy.
I think they've just always had it. I mean, even well before that, in the early 90s, there was the lawsuit with Vince McMahon
right.
and Hogan and all that, with the steroids. I mean, steroids have always been an unfortunate part of wrestling, I guess you can say, because your physique is so important.
Which, that's
you're
part of the show.
Have a guy that looks like Hulk Hogan, or has a guy that doesn't look like Hulk Hogan. Like, which one is going to be our fans going to be drawn towards? You're drawn towards the big 6'6" guy that's just the freak, muscles.
Depending though, because I was planning to get in this here later too on my favorite wrestler, but we'll save that for later.
Okay.
But and then just remind me about the 6 foot. But that was the original. I know
that was the plan. That was the superhero. That was the star. Like, if you weren't that, you could still be a star in wrestling, but you were either a bad guy because the bad guys didn't always have the best physiques, or you just weren't quite there. You just weren't quite that guy, and I think that's changed a lot now. We're in a much more health conscious world, and steroids just definitely are not as prevalent. I don't believe.
And to me, and like I said, just as like an outsider, I'm like, if I'm gonna jump off a 10-foot cage, like, I want my fat ass caught by like the most jacked up, roided up dude ever and take zero damage.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't make any sense at that point. Like, I would rather have Brock Lesnar catch me than, I don't know, Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, or the Big Show.
Yeah.
Like, give me someone that's just big and just all that. But yeah, it's definitely a change thing. The guys are not, even Brock. Brock's one of the last guys that was just like absolutely massive. But I think it's changed. I definitely think the guys are going away from that. We don't see it as much. You don't run into it, like on the independents. I've never ran into it. Maybe guys are doing it. I don't know, but it's.
I'm not saying they have to do it illegally. Like, they could,
Oh,
do
there's
it
a lot
healthy,
of different. Yep.
Which I'm just saying, just for health, for everyone's safety. But on the independents, then, who have you all ran into that maybe everyone would know in our audience?
Yeah, so we use a lot of independent wrestlers, talent that's from the area, from the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
But we've been lucky to have some name talents, Eric Redbeard, John Morrison, John Morrison twice. We've had Mr.
Really?
Yep.
In Fargo?
Once in Fargo and once in Glendive.
No shit, huh?
Yep. We had Ricky Morton, who's a lot older fans would know from way back in the day. We have had Samurai Del Sol, who was Kalisto. We have had Eugene. I'm drawing a blank on guys, but we've had all ranges. People that are on AEW now, like Billy Starks, TNA guys. I mean, we've been very fortunate. Chris Masters, JTG.
Oh, and I'm sure as things go on, because like you said, you're a relatively new company.
Yeah. So we're always trying to have some name talent in the right spot, and I use the word name talent as people have probably seen them on TV.
And that's, like I said, who knows who out of your crew could be the next guy in the WWE, AEW, and make it big. I mean,
when so we had our two of our biggest names we ever had, Eric Bischoff and X-Pac, Sean Waltman.
Yep.
And Waltman or X-Pac sat and watched every single match. He didn't wrestle, but he was there as a guest and did a meet and greet. And he watched, and he told me on a couple matches, and one specifically, they should be on TV. You know, Jay Fowler and Sierra. It was an intergender match. Sierra versus Justin Fowler. Jay Fowler.
Is Sierra the lady who just won or got 250 or something like
Yeah,
that?
so she was on. She was on that. Yeah, she's one of our staples of BZW. But you know, she could be on TV. She should.
Is she gonna be here in Bismarck?
She won't be, unfortunately.
Oh,
The one problem with being an independent company is they also work for other independent companies.
Oh, I suppose it's kind of like the old days of the territories where
Yeah,
they just go to where the shows are.
Yep. So it's first come, first serve in a sense. When we reach out, and if they're already booked or if they're busy, you know, they just got something else going on. So not everyone is always on every show, but Sierra has been on a lot of them, and she will hopefully be on many, many, many more.
So do you have any people who are like strictly with you guys?
No, I mean, we have guys that work more for us than other companies, that's for sure. But I've never been one to say you can only work for me.
Okay, not even the champions?
No, I mean, they can go and work, and I just hope that they would represent and hold themselves well. But maybe one day we'll get to the point where I can offer a contract, an exclusive contract, and that would be wonderful. That means that I'm really going places.
Well, I mean, you don't have much competition here as far as I know. So
There's a couple companies in North Dakota. North Dakota doesn't have a ton. Minnesota has a lot.
Oh, do they? Okay.
South Dakota doesn't have much.
Minnesota's a big wrestling place.
Big time.
Yeah.
AWA. Vern Gagne. AWA back in the territory days.
Yep, and you always hear about that. I listen to a lot of the old school stuff of what happened, and yep, that always gets brought up. I think it's usually with Kurt Hennig.
Yep.
Because he was big out of there, right?
If Vern would have just given Hulk Hogan the belt, we might not have seen WWF the way it is.
I think we still would have. It would just been someone else. I mean, you might be right.
Yeah, but Hulkamania
It was running wild.
started in AWA.
Yeah.
He left WWF because they weren't going to let him he went to do the Rocky movie.
Yep.
And afterwards he went to AWA. And that's where Hulkamania came. And if Vern would have put that title on him, I'm not sure what we would have seen.
Gosh, like I said, I don't necessarily like Vince's product as much, but you got to respect what he did. I think he would have still gotten to the top.
He would have probably figured something out. Hogan was the perfect guy at the perfect time.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior wasn't there yet. Macho Man wasn't in that spot yet.
Yeah.
You know, Hogan, he just did Rocky, you know.
But
so
do you think Vern would have? Because what I heard about Vince was basically he double-crossed the territories in order to become big. Do you think Vern would have done that?
No, Vern was old school.
Yeah.
Vern, that's why Vern never, I don't believe Vern put it on Hogan because of that. Because he always just felt the baby face should always chase the heel because that's what the people want. That's what the fans want. It's the best for TV. They're the best for live entertainment. And Vern and Vince were two completely different guys. Okay. Vince was an entertainer. What can we do to have the fans have, you know, how do we make this entertainment? And Vern this is wrestling. This is professional. I mean, they were two complete opposites.
Well, yeah, and Vince was different than anyone else. He took it into more the. I mean, you had talked earlier about like he was selling to everyone else, not necessarily the fans.
Yes,
but like we had said earlier when we were talking about business, like when I work with people, I'm like, don't try to impress your friends. Impress these people. Like your friends are your friends, but. You know, and that's what Vince, he was like, I'm going to impress Hollywood, I think is what he went for.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, oh, it did.
It worked.
I mean, and yeah, who's to say who could have came in, could have went out. I mean, I also think if Undertaker would have went to WCW might have won that war, but then again.
He was in WCW before WWF.
But if he would have went in as the Undertaker, did the Sting match. I mean,
a lot of guys were at WCW. It's funny to look back that it was like, oh, if they had kept this guy and kept this guy, and if they had kept Triple H and Stone Cold and Edge, and but they didn't have prominent roles. I mean, the most prominent role excuse me, the most prominent role guy that was Stone Cold,
Yep.
because he held titles in WCW. But yeah, it would have been a completely different world if Undertaker or if Shawn Michaels would have left. Shawn Michaels, I think, was close.
Oh yeah,
I think he was close.
I bet Shawn Michaels and who all was in the clique? It was Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I bet both of them were tempted.
Triple H probably by that time, was he dating Stephanie yet?
He
Then
might
he
have
was
been.
stuck.
No,
when
I don't know. He wasn't.
Yeah,
'Cause
no.
They started with China.
That's right.
I bet they were close.
Triple H, I don't think ever was as close as Shawn Michaels.
See, and I would have thought he would, because he was being punished hard at that time because they did the whole click hug. So, but speak now, favorite wrestler of all time.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
what we're gonna.
My favorite. So, I've been asked this I don't know how many times in my life, and it's really hard for me to say like who my favorite is because I've gone through so many different stages of my wrestling fandom. Hulk Hogan was obviously the one that I grew up as, like him and Ultimate Warrior.
I was just gonna say,
They-
Ultimate
they-
Warrior
they were
was
my
mine.
guys.
Because you always, as a kid, you always had like during our era. I'm guessing we're close to the same age.
Yeah.
You were either a Warrior fan or a Hogan fan, and I was a Warrior fan. But
Yeah, no, I grew up definitely a Hulk Hogan fan. As I got older, I switched to Hollywood because NWO. But Scott Hall is maybe my favorite of all time. If I had to choose someone that I just because I got to meet him when I was like 10, so that helped. But Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, I'm a big tag team guy, so the New Age Outlaws. Steiner's, like, I don't know. I have so many favorites. It's really hard.
no, that's true. I get that. Yeah, and speaking of tag teams, that was a big problem. Like I watched TNA.
Sure.
And it was during the Motor City Machine Guns.
They just
Dudleys.
They just debuted.
I saw that
They
yesterday.
just debuted.
Yeah, I was curious. That might make me watch because I loved watching them. It was them, the Dudleys, and Beer Money
Sure.
when they were all fighting in TNA for the title, and they had probably the best matches I think I've ever seen at the time.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I like the Dudleys, their style and everything. Like I was a big ECW guy, but Motor City and Beer Money and tag team wrestling to me is great. And with BCW, I've always wanted to do a little bit more of it. It's tough. There's not as many independent tag teams out there.
Well,
It's harder to get booked.
I was watching an interview with Shawn Michaels yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they did everything, him and the Rockers, or him and Marty Jannetty. And he's like, basically, you don't get into wrestling to be a tag team, is what he said. And I was like, I can
Most
see
guys
it,
don't.
But
Most guys don't. We have some great tag teams that we've used, and there's some great tag teams over the years that if you don't get into it for tag team wrestling, you're probably not ever going to be a great tag team wrestler.
And
I mean, there's exceptions. Shawn Michaels is an exception
well, he was just a great wrestler.
because he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have done anything you asked him. I'm
Anything.
Sure. I would say my favorite all time, Chris Jericho. He's what got me into it. I watched him in WCW, and I was pumped and that's what made me start watching WWE. And every time I see him do something, I mean, he'll either make me laugh or whatever. Like him and Kevin Owens, best friends.
Yes.
One of the best segments ever.
Yep.
Right now, what he's doing with the Learning Tree is pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, he doesn't always do gold, but
No, there's been lots, but yeah, Jericho's still maybe the greatest debut of all time.
oh yeah,
Like, I mean, it'd be tough to say it's not.
yeah.
But yeah, just everything he's done throughout his career, it's hard for them. You can't argue against him. Like if someone's like, "Hey, he's my favorite," like you go, "Okay," like you can't argue against it.
No, I mean, he wore goat on his shorts for a while there,
Yeah.
and yeah, you got to put him in that same category as like the Hogans and because for my generation, like I said in WCW, I enjoyed the Luchadors, and he was a Luchador there.
Yes.
I enjoyed them just as much as the NWO storyline, and
Yeah.
we could sit and talk what ifs all night, but if they would have paid a little more attention to the Luchadors and booked them better. I mean, WCW could have won that war. A lot of things could have happened.
Yeah. And I think they wanted to. I think WCW wanted to, but I think it was too late when they started to because Nash and Hogan and those guys still had a lot of creative control no matter what they say. There's still a lot of them, but at some point, Hogan put over Billy Kidman.
Yeah.
But it was probably just a couple years too late.
I probably wasn't watching at the time. I
Yeah,
didn't even
it
know
was
that
late.
happened.
It was
Okay.
late. Hogan wasn't really doing Hulkamania. He wasn't really doing Hollywood. He was just kind of doing Hogan.
Yep.
And it was towards the end of WCW.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Billy Kidman, a feud with Hulk Hogan. Like, why? No one would, they tried.
Yeah.
But it was just a little too late.
Speaking of Kidman too, like Raven's Flock, that was one of my
Oh,
favorites, and
I
like,
loved Raven's Flock.
they didn't get any. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I don't think they got the credit they deserved for how good they were.
Well, it's tough to be that when you're overshadowed by the NWO,
Yeah.
the Four Horsemen, like all these things that are going on at the time. What they did have is that they were still a major storyline. Raven held the United States title at that time. I believe they had the tag team during Raven's Flock, and Kidman had the cruiserweight. So I mean, they just never were like that next step.
Yeah.
It's like they were. But I mean, if you think about the guys that were there, Raven was good as anyone. Perry Saturn, Billy Kidman, like Canyon. Those guys, they were just great.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing, and it again, me and my wife talk about it a lot. I was a grunge '90s. I mean,
You fit right into Raven's Flock.
exactly.
That was it.
I mean, like he stole more of a cult drug addict thing, but yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, yeah.
At the end of the day, though, yeah, he was the most '90s looking, and the NWO Eric Bischoff, like he liked that '80s stuff.
Yep.
So I get it. So they didn't get their push, but
Yeah.
well, with
No,
that,
they were good though.
yeah, they were one of my favorites. But with that, we'll go to another commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hey there, how you doing? Just wanted to tell you that I hope you have a wonderful day today.
Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. I don't care what they say about you.
Yeah, no matter what they say about you, you deserve to have a good day.
Yeah, so go out there and have a good day, you punks.
And we are back. I'm here again with my friend Nick Stokke from Below Zero Wrestling. So, Nick, let's talk about some of the guys that you have on your roster and kind of tell me about them.
Yeah. So like we talked about in the past, we have a very diverse group of guys and female talent from all over. And we're North Dakota based, and we have a great group out of North Dakota. So we could start there.
So, me and Dakota Faye,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him from a few episodes back. Great friend, one of the greatest rappers. Going to be famous 2 years.
Yeah.
Too. Anyway,
Holding you to that.
me and him had been having discussions, and he says North Dakota doesn't exist. I, however, say it does.
Yeah.
And I think Below Zero Wrestling is a good point because you have a lot of local guys who are probably going to make it.
I
and
hope
be
so.
something.
I hope so. Yeah, we're spoiled. We got some of our best talent, some of our biggest names for Below Zero right here in North Dakota. Here in Bismarck, Nick Nelson. As much as people want to hate him, he's good. He's very good, but
If he can walk the walk. I mean.
he's not afraid to speak his mind. Excuse me. But Nelson is here in Bismarck. If you ever see him and want to tell him how much he looks like Triple H, go ahead and do that.
I'll have to get him on the show before.
He'll love that from you.
I'll try to get him on the show. Can you give me an inside with him? Just give me
Oh
an
yeah,
in.
I can get him in touch with you. But our very first champion, Jack Ledger, is from North Dakota here. He's trained with Cody Rhodes down at the Nightmare Factory.
Yep.
He's amazing. His brother Bobby Brennan is another guy here at BZW that we've used. I think Bobby has been with us almost every single event, from day one. So we're really lucky. I mean, Mason Mayhem is here. Mr. Incredible is here. All these guys that I'm mentioning too, they're all going to be on our show here in December. That's why I'm kind of mentioning some of them, so people are familiar with our most recent event coming up. Jake Taylor, who we talked about, the man of all mixed martial arts, and I guess country dancing too. Your wife told me that he can dance country, and I'm gonna have to figure that out because I swear every time you talk to him about something, he's good at it, and so now he's gonna be good again at something else.
I mean, that happens. I mean, people like us, just
Yeah.
good at whatever we do.
Well, not everyone can have a robe like you though either.
No. I mean, this right here, This is the finest. I believe it cost us at least $3,000
Minimum.
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 Easily. Like I'll have to find a price,
Yeah.
but I'm guessing.
Maybe priceless.
Well, we'll see. I mean, actually, I think this was $4,000. Now that I
Okay.
think about it, so yeah, it's a $4,000 robe. I
The
mean,
diamond gemstones.
yeah, I mean,
You can't see them as well.
and it's gonna get better. I mean, it's missing a few things
Yeah.
that my seamstress that I pay an exorbitant amount of money to.
Better
care.
than the blanket too.
Well, Big Blanket Co. still has a chance.
Okay.
They can
All
call.
right, all right. Well-
But like I said, I gave them 5 episodes, and that feels like it was an awful lot.
Yeah. No, none of the wrestlers walk to the ring with a robe like that either.
They need to.
They should. And one guy that I think would very much love it would be Matthias. He is another North Dakota guy. He, me and him have our issues. I can say in not a bad way, but he's just another one of those bad guys, those heels that
Said,
just
I know
bother
a
me.
guy. He can walk to the ring and he will slap the shit out of him. I give you the ins. We're friends now, so
There you
I'll
go.
do that for you if you need it.
If anyone, there's only one guy that might do that, and that I can, and that's Sylvester J. Fox. Sylvester J. Fox is manager extraordinaire. He is a self-proclaimed greatest wrestling manager of all time.
Okay.
And he does manage one of our champions right now, the guy that beat Jake Taylor.
Okay.
And Tommy Lee Curtis, TLC, the Jack Jesus, who is from Canada. He is another one of his clients.
Okay.
So Sly is always messing around and getting under my skin. So I might have to take you up on that offer with the slap.
I mean,
The slap
he has
champion.
the first knockout in UFC Power Slap history.
Yeah.
He was the first welterweight champion in UFC history. Okay. He was the first coach for the Ultimate Fighter Power Slap House. He won the first season of the Power Slap House. I mean, I could call in a favor. If you need someone to get slapped, he'll do it.
Sly, if you watch this and you're listening, I got people on my side.
Oh, I got you.
All right. So I mean, we have such an amazing roster, and I can go on and on because we have 30, 40, however many people that have worked for us, and then from top to bottom, it really is. I'm spoiled when it comes to talent that I can use, and if I message someone and say, hey, we have an event coming up, are you available? And if they say no, the next person that I go to is just as good, and I'm so lucky for that. We're so lucky for that. Some of our champions, our tag team champions, the Crucible, again, as much as someone that just doesn't listen to the rules and beats people up just because they want to, they're just these amazing tag team guys. If you pull back the curtain a little bit, when it comes to in-ring ability, it's tough to beat them. So we're very, very spoiled. Like I said, I can go on and on about all of my talent, but if I didn't say their name, I'll say it next time because there's that many.
Oh, and we can go on all night. I don't have anything to do. I mean, you woke me up for an interview. Here I am. I mean, it happens.
There you go.
But well, and now that we're friends too, we can prove that North Dakota exists together.
It does.
I mean,
It does.
What the whole joke is, or the inside joke is, North Dakota has so much talent, but we're almost hidden away here.
Yeah.
And I want to say one of the reasons that we have so much talent is because it gets so fucking cold.
You got to find something to do.
Yep, exactly. And I'd say the same about Canada too.
Yeah.
I mean, Canadian wrestlers, I mean, you could argue it, but they have been some of the best wrestlers in history. And Canadian performers, everything. But yeah, when you don't have a whole lot to do for 6 months out of the year, you can really hone in and focus on a craft.
Yeah. We haven't tapped in a ton to a lot of the Canadian wrestlers. We have a few. Tommy Lee Curtis, the Jack Jesus, and then Mentolo is another one of ours. They're both going to be in Bismarck, and two completely different styles of wrestling. But Mentolo is a high-flying luchador kind of style. Some might say one of the best ever in Canada to not get signed.
Okay.
Trained with the likes of Kenny Omega.
Okay.
And just all these guys.
And he's going to be on the Bismarck
He
show?
will be in Bismarck.
Who's he going against?
I can't say it yet.
Can't say
We haven't
yet?
announced
Okay,
it yet.
okay,
We're still working. We're still working.
Is there any feuds that we need to know
There
about?
is. And the biggest feud I think right now is I've been told that Sylvester J. Fox is going to announce when Tommy Lee Curtis, his client, is gonna decide on when he's cashing in his Money in the Bank. Essentially,
Okay.
Our Money in the Bank is the WrestleVersary Rumble, but
Yeah.
And speaking of Canadian, Tommy Lee Curtis, he was trained by Lance Storm.
Okay.
One of my favorite wrestlers. So yeah, it's been great. We have a lot of fun little feuds, a lot of storylines, but yet our events can still be like here in Bismarck are going to be not just storylines. So if you don't like, if you don't know my story or our story, you can still come out and have a great time.
Yeah.
So
Where can they find the information? Like, who's the manager? I'm sorry.
Sylvester J.
Sylvester.
Fox.
Where is he going to announce the
It might be on our social media. It might be on his social media. But
Facebook,
it will be
Instagram?
Facebook is our main social media, so Below Zero Wrestling, but everything is on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
And YouTube as well, or?
We are getting better at YouTube. Yes. I'm gonna put that on Zach if he watches this. Zach, see, we talked about YouTube.
Well, and we are YouTube's first late night talk show.
Perfect.
Like there is as far as I know, no other late night talk show on YouTube.
It's always good to be the first.
Exactly. And
always good.
You know, we look like this.
But if not, belowzerowrestling.com. That's kind of our big thing. But yeah, social media is big for us as we continue to grow and just do that. And
So was it Zach? Zach is your business partner.
Zach is my business partner.
And is he the one who works with Maven a little bit, or?
Yes, Zach has a lot of things, and he's wonderful. Zach is so important to BZW. I mean, there are so many things that me and him do. I mean, it's definitely like a 50-50 partnership in terms that everything that I'm bad at, he's good at.
Yep.
And some of the stuff that I don't want to say that he's bad, but some of the stuff he doesn't want to do.
We're all bad at some things.
The stuff that isn't his forte might be my forte. And so it's just works so well. And so he's got his hands in a few different things with wrestling on YouTube. He does some other things on there too. He's amazing. If you ever get a chance to talk to Zach with being with you on YouTube and everything like that, I don't even know how many successful channels he has these days. He's always going.
For some reason it wasn't switching there.
No, that's fine. So shout out to my business partner Zach. He doesn't like to do a lot of this type of stuff and might not get the credit that he deserves, but he's without him there's no BZW. 100%.
And does he work with Maven? Is that
he does some stuff with Maven. Does some stuff with some other channels. He has like a wrestling channel, Tap Out Corner, and I don't know how much you want. He's a private guy sometimes.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I guess,
but yeah, he does a lot. So we've been fortunate to have Maven at an event before. Maven's great, and Zach is a huge part of that Maven wrestling channel.
Okay,
and
I had just discovered that not awfully long ago, I should say. And I didn't watch wrestling at the time that he was on, so I didn't know the whole thing, but I love his behind the scenes type stuff where he'll tell the guys that liked him, didn't like him, or the moves he hated to take or liked to take. Yeah. Which, have you taken any moves, or do you stay out of the ring?
I just stay out of the ring.
That's fair.
My wife is so much more happy if I'm not in the ring.
That's fair.
And but I mean I'm in there. I don't necessarily do the moves. I've been in the ring. Like people are like, oh, it's a trampoline. It's not a trampoline.
No.
I've seen the padding.
Yeah.
I bought the padding. I know how thick it is.
Yeah. What is it? Probably
2-inch. We have 2-inch padding.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yep.
But then you have the boards underneath.
Board
too.
and metal.
So
there's boards and metal underneath.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I've done a lot of falls in my day.
Yeah.
Like I've been taken down quite a bit, and I mean, 2 inches on cement. I mean, I think at my gym we have 1.5 inches, and it fucking hurts. Like,
it hurts.
If someone did a big judo throw on me, like I would feel it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It's wrestling's not fake. Like everyone will say, "Oh, it's fake. It's fake. It's fake." Like, get in there and take a chop.
Yep.
Get in there and take a body slam. Get in there and take that. It's crazy how physical it is.
Oh yeah.
And people will say, "Oh, it's not."
The moves aren't fake. I mean,
No.
you can't fake that kind of stuff. And I mean, you can get better at landing and, learn, and you have your partner's help. But you can't fake all that stuff. And sometimes, you You just got to do it, and it's not going to be fun, but it's
No.
part of the show.
Yeah, that's something that I just I'm okay with never having to do. If Sylvester J. Fox continues to pester me and bother me and bug me and do whatever he can, maybe one day I might not be able to take it. But I'm gonna keep my cool for right now.
I think you take him.
I could take him.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I could take you.
Yeah, see?
I'm looking at you, Sly.
So, well, with that, maybe we should wrap it up here. It's starting to get a little late. My tea is gone.
My coffee has got one left, so
There you go.
no, I appreciate this so much.
let's
Just
do
having
it
us
again.
on, and like we mentioned before, December 7th, we're so excited to be in Bismarck.
You have any shows before that?
We don't. A little bit of a break. We're working on some hopefully really big announcements, and by that time we hope to have at least one out, maybe a couple. And so business, just you got to slow down a little bit every once in a while and just make sure that housekeeping is done. But Bismarck is our next one. Last time we were in Bismarck, it still is maybe one of the best crowds, fan-wise, excitement-wise, that we've ever had. So we're excited to be back December 7th. Get those tickets. I know that first row and second row are flying off the shelf right now.
Yeah,
and
people are excited.
So-
And yeah, maybe I can get you guys to get on YouTube a little bit more and
Yeah.
join the IceBreaker family, because what we do is I try to highlight other people on YouTube or any sort of media, and especially proving North Dakota exists. And
We
that
do
We have a
exist.
lot of talent.
Yes, and we're not the same as South Dakota.
No.
We're better.
Well, I mean, that Family Guy episode.
I got a lot of guys that wrestle from my champion, Brandon Nitro, our BZW champion, who I completely forgot to even announce. He's from South Dakota. He's the South Dakota sex symbol.
So that too, I mean, we'll probably call it soon, but I kind of believe that North Dakota and South Dakota should just unite and just be Dakota.
I'm such a big Bison fan, though. I don't want to do that with South Dakota State. Go Bison. They just beat South Dakota State, too. So
I mean, we can have both.
there's a lot of things to work out.
That's true. I mean, we can have to talk to them.
There you go.
Me and you will go.
We can be
we'll shadow them, yeah.
the ambassadors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure our government would be fine with that.
Perfect.
Yeah, so, with that, I think I'm going to call it a night.
Thank you.
I will see you again soon. And everyone else, I'm out.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready for the main event? We got legends in the ring, got no time to pretend. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? We're bringing back the heat, ain't no way you overlook it. Hustle, loyalty, respect, Sean Cena's here. The champ is back, now make some noise here. That's Stone Cold Stunners and Heartbreakers too. With sweet chin music, you know what we do. Red Flair, styling and profiling, drummer and time. CM Punk, we got Stone Cold Stunners and Heartbreakers too. With sweet chin music, you know what we do. Red Flair, we're styling and profiling, it's clobbering time. CM Punk, we're wilding and smiling, get ready to run. We'll feel the thrill of the fight with the IceBreaker leg show, keeping it tight. It's time to rest in peace. Undertaker's here with the tombstone pile driver. You'll face the fear. The RKO coming out of nowhere. And when the glass breaks, you better beware. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We got the crowd moving, man. Ain't that grand? They're too sweet. Bullet Club style, bringing the heat. We move so sick, they'll knock you off your seat. Ric Flair, styling and profiling, drummer and time. CM Punk, we got Stone Cold Stunners and Heartbreakers too. With sweet chin music, you know what we do. With the IceBreaker Late Show, we're on tonight. Yes, yes, yes. Daniel Bryan says, we got the crowd moving, man. Ain't that grand? They're too sweet. Bullet Club style, we're bringing the heat. We move so sick, they'll knock you off your seat. Ric Flair, styling and profiling, drummer and time. CM Punk, we got Stone Cold Stunners and Heartbreakers too. With the IceBreaker Late Show, we're on tonight. Oh yeah! I'll tell you something, bro. This ain't your average show. It's the
and that's the bottom line. Cause we said so. Icebreakers in the ring, taking over the show. One last move for the legends in the crowd. Hit that finisher, we're breaking it down.